A very good evening to all our viewers. You're watching World News on CVR English with me, Asma Afreen. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared that Israel will determine which foreign forces are acceptable to join a proposed international mission in Gaza under a US-backed ceasefire plan. While the US has ruled out deploying on its own troops, discussions are underway with countries like Egypt, Indonesia, the UAE, Qatar, Turkey and Azerbaijan to contribute to the multinational force. Netanyahu emphasized Israel's sovereign right to oversee its security and the composition of any external presence in Gaza, stating, "We are in our control. Israel will determine which forces are unacceptable to us." The plan remains complex amid regional sensitivities and Hamas's refusal to disarm.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday that the country would determine which foreign forces it would allow as part of a planned international force in Gaza. Netanyahu spoke at a cabinet meeting.
We control our own security, and we have made clear that in regard to international forces, Israel will determine which forces are unacceptable to us, and that is how we act and will continue to act. This is of course accepted by the United States as well, and its most senior representatives made clear in recent days. Israel is an independent state. We will defend ourselves by ourselves, and we will continue to control our fate.
It remains unclear whether Arab and other states will be ready to commit troops. That's in part given the refusal of Palestinian Hamas militants to disarm, while Israel has voiced concerns about the makeup of the force. The Trump administration has
ago. Tonight, I too stand atop a mountain, and I have a dream, a Seychelles Creole dream, for a nation where unity is our strength, dignity our habit, and justice our daily existence. A nation united in our Creole culture.
In a show of progressive unity, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders and New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have voiced their support for Zohran Mamdani's campaign in the New York City mayoral race. Their endorsement came during a spirited rally at Forest Hill Stadium, where thousands gathered as early voting commenced. While avoiding direct political comparisons, both leaders emphasized Mamdani's grassroots appeal and his commitment to challenging entrenched interest. The event themed "New York is not for sale" highlighted a broader movement toward inclusive governance and social justice. Mamdani's candidacy, buoyed by such high-profile backing, is gaining momentum among younger and progressive voters seeking transformative leadership in the city's political landscape.
On November 4th, we will prove that today. We will prove it to the world, and we will prove it to the nation. And we will send a loud message to President Donald Trump that his authoritarianism is no good here.
At a moment when Americans are extremely distressed about where we are as a nation, economically and politically, a victory here in New York will give hope and inspiration to people throughout our country and throughout the world.
Together, New York, we're going to freeze the... Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and... Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal... We will make our city one where every person who calls it home can live a dignified life.
Hurricane Melissa has intensified into a Category 4 storm and may soon reach Category 5 status, according to U.S. forecasters. The storm's rapid strengthening has raised alarms across the northern Caribbean, with Haiti and Jamaica particularly vulnerable to its impact. Authorities are bracing for torrential rainfall and the possibility of catastrophic flooding. Emergency teams are on alert, and residents have been urged to follow safety advisories. While the exact path remains under observation, the potential for widespread damage has prompted regional government to prepare for worst-case scenarios. Melissa's escalation underscores the urgency of climate resilience and disaster readiness in island nations frequently exposed to extreme weather events.
por segundo y se mantiene bajo estricto...
No vamos a tener 2 días a tiempo completo de ciclón y verdaderamente aún cuando el azul está identificado aquí como inundación, esto va a estar inundado completo.
Argentina's Libertarian President Javier Milei secured sweeping victories in key districts during the country's midterm elections on Sunday, reinforcing his political mandate. While the results signal strong support from Milei's reformist agenda, opposition leader Axel Kicillof cautioned against premature celebration, calling it a mistake. Kicillof's remarks reflect ongoing tension between Milei's administration and traditional political fractions as Argentina navigates economic challenges and ideological shifts. The midterms are seen as a litmus test for Milei's governance style and his push for deregulation and fiscal overhaul. Political observers are watching closely as they shape legislative dynamics and set the tone for future policy battles.
Look at what the people of Argentina wanted. We wanted security. We wanted to change the Congress that's been the same for years. Why our children suffer? No, we can't live like this anymore.
Se equivoca, Milei, el gobierno.
Argentine President Javier Milei, the government is mistaken. To celebrate this electoral result, where 6 out of 10 Argentines have said they do not agree with the model they are proposing. But he is also mistaken if he overlooks the situation our people are going through. One of enormous suffering, where jobs have been lost, where activity has fallen, where businesses are closing every day, where the most vulnerable suffer more every day.
The Parliamentary Rapid Support Forces have reportedly seized control of EI Fasher and the Sunday's military final stronghold in the Darfur region. This development is confirmed marked a pivotal shift in the ongoing civil war, potentially dividing Sudan into eastern and western spheres of influence. The RSF's claim includes the capture of the 6th Infantry Division base after prolonged fighting. While official military confirmation remains pending, observers suggest the army's presence in the city has been severely diminished. Control of EI Fasher would consolidate RSF's dominance in Darfur and reshape the conflict's trajectory. The situation underscores the deepening fragmentation of Sudan and raises concerns over humanitarian access and regional sustainability amid escalating violence.
ليلة اللهب نكويه كي احنا الغبش.
Direct flights between India and China resumed today, marking a major milestone in bilateral relations. The move is expected to significantly enhance trade, tourism and people-to-people connectivity between the two nations. Airlines from both countries have reintroduced routes connecting major cities such as Delhi, Mumbai, Shanghai and Beijing. This development follows years of suspended travel due to COVID-19 pandemic and diplomatic tensions. Business communities and travelers have welcomed the decision, anticipating smoother logistics and increased economic engagement. The resumption of flights also signals a cautious thaw in diplomatic ties and reflects mutual interest in strengthening regional cooperation. Authorities have assured that all necessary safety protocols are in place for international travel.
First 03 from Kolkata landed in Guangzhou, officially restoring non-stop air connectivity that had been suspended since 2020 due to the pandemic and geopolitical tensions. The flight carrying 176 passengers was flagged off from Kolkata's Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport with a ceremonial lamp lightning, attended by passengers, airline officials, and airport staff. As a very important day for India-China relations, marking the first direct service between the two countries in 5 years. The resumption of this route is being seen as a positive step for people-to-people contact and business exchanges, even as broader diplomatic challenges remain between New Delhi and Beijing.
Germany has reported a sudden outbreak of bird flu, joining several European countries experiencing early cases this season. The outbreak was confirmed in Brandenburg, where the virus spread among cranes at the migratory bird site, prompting authorities to call ducks and impose containment measures. The highly pathogenic H5N1 strain has triggered alerts across Europe, with 56 outbreaks in 10 EU countries so far this year, up from 31 in 9 countries last year. Belgium, France and the Netherlands have ordered poultry to be kept indoors, while Portugal and Germany face renewed surges. Officials warn of rising food prices and supply disruption, urging strict monitoring of poultry farms and enhanced biosecurity protocols to prevent further spread. Israel is reportedly backing anti-Hamas factions within Gaza, raising concerns of a brewing civil conflict. These groups, including the Popular Forces and Counter-Terrorism Strike Force, have emerged near the newly marked yellow line, a boundary created by the IDF to separate zones within Gaza. While Israel claims the line is for operational clarity, critics argue it's fueling internal divisions. The militants oppose Hamas rule and have allegedly received support to challenge its authority. Some leaders have engaged with international actors to discuss post-war governance. The development has sparked fears of long-term instability, with observers warning that Gaza could descend into factional violence if external influence continues to shape internal power dynamics.
Also under question.
Well, these are very murky times. What Israel is doing is quite clearly to undermine the stability and security within Gaza during the ceasefire by promoting, arming and supporting these other groups. Now, this means that it will be more dangerous on the ground for aid agencies, for Palestinians generally to operate there. It means it undermines that sense of peace that is there. But above all, in terms of what Israel is probably aiming to achieve, this divides Palestinians, it creates bad blood between them. These groups are probably not strong enough to take on Hamas on their own, but they can be more than a nuisance. They can be a very serious threat, and it will engulf, Hamas in having to fight them on the ground in all sorts of areas. They will have the support some of the people. Hamas by no means is popular in the Gaza Strip, not least after the last 2 years, but it still is by far and away the largest and most potent Palestinian armed actor in Gaza. This is a classic case then of divide and rule, and it's a way of trying to make it harder actually to bring about a successful ceasefire.
Yes, Mr. Doyle, taking cue from exactly what you said, that these militant groups are not strong enough to support themselves. These groups reportedly have the backing of some Arab countries as well, with vehicles that have UAE license plates that have been reportedly spotted at their operational sites. Does this mean that some Arab countries could be working in tandem with Israel on post-Gaza war plan?
Well, that would be getting into speculation, but certainly the UAE has had a very openly anti-Hamas agenda. It doesn't like the Muslim Brotherhood. Of course, Hamas is the Palestinian branch of the Muslim Brotherhood. So in some ways, politically, this is not surprising. But really what those who want to see Gaza getting out of the sheer hell that it is in at the moment need to be doing is finding a political track out of this, because there isn't a military one. If Gaza is subsumed between interfactional fighting, this is not going to bring about peace or allow the rebuilding of Gaza. Hamas is within Israel and maybe elsewhere who simply don't want it to succeed.
Yes, Mr. Doyle, right.
Australia's competition watchdog, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, has filed a lawsuit against Microsoft, accusing the tech giant of misleading millions of customers over its Microsoft 365 subscription pricing following the integration of its AI assistant Copilot. The ACCC alleges that since October 2024, Microsoft led users to believe they had to upgrade to more expensive personal and family plans to access Copilot, without clearly informing them of a cheaper classic plan that excluded the AI tool. The case affects around 2.7 million Australian customers, with subscription prices reportedly rising by 45%. The lawsuit underscores growing global scrutiny on AI product transparency, pricing ethics and consumer rights in the digital economy.
Commission, or ACCC, has said that Microsoft pushed around 2.2 million users into paying higher prices, that is for its Microsoft 365 plans, after bundling in its AI tool Copilot. The regulator even claims that since October last year, Microsoft implied customers had to switch to new, more expensive personal and even family plans that included Copilot, even though cheaper classic plans without the AI assistant were still available. After Copilot's integration, prices shot up. The personal plan jumped 45% to 159 Australian dollars a year, roughly $103 US, while the family plan rose as much as 29% to 179 Australian dollars. That's roughly around $116 US. Microsoft has also been accused of hiding the cheaper option, only revealing it once users began the cancellation process. The watchdog even says that this design could breach Australian consumer law by creating a misleading impression of customer choice. The watchdog has also noted that Microsoft's customer emails and blog posts never mention the cheaper plans, and instead it only posts new related.
Two U.S. Navy aircraft, the MH-60R Seahawk helicopter and the FA-18F Super Hornet fighter jet, crashed within 30 minutes of each other during routine operation in the South China Sea on Sunday. Both incidents involved aircraft operating from the USS Nimitz. Fortunately, all 5 crew members were safely recovered and are in stable condition. The U.S. Navy has launched investigations into the cases of the crashes, which occurred in a geopolitically sensitive region. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated the incident happened during a military exercise and offered humanitarian assistance. The back-to-back crashes have raised concern and speculation about operational safety and regional tensions. That's all for now. Keep watching CVR English.